Imagine a creature so ancient that her name was only whispered during winter. A colossal figure emerging from frozen mountains, with hungry eyes, broken teeth, and a sack made of human skin dragging across the snow. Now imagine that this creature doesn't hunt adults. She hunts children. Disobedient children. Children who don't follow rules. Children who dare to challenge the authority of their elders. And what if I told you that, instead of being just a monster from old legends, this creature is still used today to scare children during Christmas? Who or what is Grýla? Why does she devour children? And why, in one of Europe's oldest cultures, does her name still inspire real fear? Today, on Urban Secrets, we descend into the frozen shadows of Iceland to meet Grýla, the child-devouring mother. Long before Christmas lights, gifts, and cheerful songs, winter in northern Europe did not represent joy. It represented death. In medieval Iceland, winter was a sentence. Months of near-total darkness, extreme cold, food scarcity, and the constant feeling that something might be watching from the white silence. It was in this brutal environment that one of the most terrifying figures of Norse folklore was born, Grýla. Unlike other mythical creatures, Grýla was not created for entertainment. She was created as a warning. Her earliest records appear in Icelandic poems from the 13th century, during a time when fear was a survival tool. Grýla was described as a giantess, a mountain creature, as old as the ice itself, with multiple tails, knife-like claws, and an insatiable appetite. But her true horror wasn't her appearance, it was her target. Grýla descended from the mountains at the height of winter to search for bad, lazy, or disobedient children. She stuffed them into her sack and carried them back home. And there, she cooked them alive. They say Grýla doesn't walk. She drags winter along with her. When her silhouette appears in the snowstorms, the wind grows harsher, animals hide, and silence falls over the villages. Icelanders believed that if you heard heavy footsteps in the snow at night, it was best not to look out the window, because Grýla was hunting. She knew the names of the children. She knew who disobeyed, who lied, who disrespected their parents. Grýla didn't need to be summoned. She simply came. Her home, according to legend, lay in Iceland's most inhospitable regions, frozen caves, impossible mountains, places where no human should survive. There, she lived with her equally grotesque husband, Eye, a passive, silent figure, perhaps even more disturbing for never trying to stop anything. But Grýla was not alone. She was the mother of 13 creatures known as the Yule Lads. Today, they're portrayed as mischievous Christmas figures, something like elves. But it wasn't always that way. Originally, the Yule Lads were night predators. They broke into homes, terrified families, stole food, and helped Grýla find children for her feast. And as if that weren't enough, there was yet another creature living with her. The Yule Cat, a colossal beast that devoured any child who didn't receive new clothes before winter. A symbolic punishment for laziness, but described in far too brutal a way to ignore. Grýla, then, was not just a monster. She was the center of an entire system of fear. Parents told stories about her by the fire, staring directly into their children's eyes, not for fun, but as a warning. If you don't behave, if you don't help, if you're bad, Grýla will come for you. And the most disturbing part is that, over the centuries, the church tried to ban these stories. Religious authorities considered Grýla too evil, too disturbing for children. But they failed to erase her. She survived, she adapted, and she was slowly absorbed into Iceland's Christmas traditions. Even today, her name is still spoken, still represented, still uncomfortable. Because, deep down, Grýla isn't just a monster. She is the reflection of something far older, the primal fear that when winter comes, not all children return. But there is something even more disturbing about Grýla, something that turns this legend into something far closer to reality than we'd like to admit. Grýla didn't need to exist physically to fulfill her role. She lived in the mind. For centuries, Icelandic children grew up believing that hunger, cold, and the silence of winter had a face, and that face was hers. Historians believe Grýla emerged as an extreme personification of collective fear, the fear of scarcity, the fear of child mortality, the fear of not surviving the winter. In times when food was rationed, a disobedient child could mean waste. A lazy child could put an entire family's survival at risk. So Grýla took on a cruel, yet functional role. She was the final punishment, the absolute consequence. When the wind howled outside and the darkness felt endless, children didn't fear the cold. They feared being taken. And as time passed, Grýla's figure became more grotesque. Her features exaggerated. Her habits increasingly violent. She didn't just eat children. She savored them. Folkloric accounts describe Grýla chewing slowly, enjoying the fear, as if the punishment mattered as much as the final act. She didn't hunt out of need. She hunted for correction. And this is where the horror deepens. Because Grýla didn't attack strangers. She didn't appear at random. She came because someone failed. The parents failed. The child failed. The family failed. Grýla was judgment. And in a way, she still is. Today, Grýla appears in children's books, decorations, and even Christmas events in Iceland. Her appearance has been softened, her role diluted, but the fear never fully disappeared. She remains the antithesis of the perfect Christmas. While the world celebrates light, gifts, and hope, Grýla represents the other side of the season. The cold, the scarcity, the punishment. Maybe that's why her legend never died. Because Grýla isn't just a creature of folklore. She is a brutal reminder of a time when winter decided who lived and who didn't. A time when fear was inherited, passed down from generation to generation, like a story whispered at night. And maybe, when the wind blows too hard, when the night feels too long, when the silence grows heavy, maybe Grýla is still out there, watching, waiting. If you enjoy dark stories, ancient legends, and mysteries that survive through centuries, subscribe to Urban Secrets. Leave a like to support the channel, and write in the comments, which legend do you want to see in the next video? Because some stories should never be forgotten.